7 council seats, 1 out of 9,000 up for grabs. How would you say the march towards replacing the Liberal Democrats as the third party in British politics is going?
Well, we beat them in most of the seats in which we stood. We're not as big as the Lib Dems in total, but if you look at the overall vote that we got earlier this month, 1/3 votes, and we stood in less than 1/8 of the seats. So what you see is the UKIP vote roughly triple what it was in the general election last year, but hey, a long way to go.
Yeah, 7 councillors.
Yeah, because we've not been targeting, we've not had the right strategy for fighting local elections.
Well, you're the leader. Why haven't you got the right strategy?
What you've seen, because you're telling volunteers what to do, and it's never easy. What you've seen with Ramsay is the targeting of a seat, the winning of a district council seat, leading on to a county council seat and a mayor. And that we've got to be more professional about this in the future, and we will be.
So are you saying it's not possible to lead your party?
Well, it's very difficult to tell strong-minded people what they should and shouldn't do.
So the answer is, it is impossible,
Well, I mean, I'm not a dictator, believe it or not. No, I mean, look, our number of votes is going up everywhere that we stand. What we're not doing at the moment is winning lots of council seats, and that's why we've got to adopt a different strategy.
So today, Ramsay, Cambridgeshire, tomorrow the world. Well, tomorrow,
that depends.
Tomorrow, UK.
That depends. I mean, in 1999, 3 of us won seats in the European Parliament. We were told it was a complete flash in the pan. We'd be wiped out the next time round. We've got on from that to coming second in the European elections because we were good at what we did. If we run places like Ramsay well, we'll win many more. Yes.
But were the circumstances ever more propitious for the UK Independence Party than they were at the last council elections, where you've got, you know, the Conservatives in coalition with the centrist Liberal Democrats? I'm sure there would have been a lot of disaffected Tories who'd say, I can't put up with this. I'm going to put my faith in UKIP. Well, and they didn't.
Well, and that's why our share of the vote was so much higher than it was 4 years ago and was treble what it was at the general election last year.
I keep saying to you, 7 councillors.
Well, in terms of winning seats, we didn't. It's very, very small beer, I agree with you. But in terms of our total number of votes and our percentage of the vote, it was the highest that it's ever been in any domestic election.
So you talk about the share of the vote being good. One of your MEPs, Marta Andreasen, said the results were a bitter disappointment. Party members and supporters are justifiably angry. It is time for change. Mr Farage has abjectly failed to deliver.
Well, I'm sorry, but she's hopelessly out of touch. She hasn't even been to the UK for several months. She doesn't know.
So that's her swatted aside?
Well, you know, I mean, there you are. That's politics. We can't all agree. All I can tell you is that UKIP's in good heart. We're getting ready for the London Assembly elections next year. We're getting ready for local elections next year, and there will be more Ramsays.
Well, how do you know? Because you've just said your party doesn't take a blind bit of notice
of you.
Well,
I think it's beginning to learn. Slowly but surely, when it sees success, and, you know, you would have a bit of fun with your film about Ramsay, but it is success at district, county and parish level, and I think others will take that lead.
I think there's some serious points here. You've said, more or less, in terms, that your party is impossible to lead. You said, quote, unquote...
Difficult.
We had the wrong strategy. You're the leader. We have seen the history of the party that when you get more than 10 of you in a room, there is the most almighty Barney, and, you know, the furniture starts to fly because you can't agree with each other.
Well, I think that may be a slight exaggeration, but look, when you've got a new political movement and it's growing up, it has some difficult teenage difficulties along the way. We've had some of those. Of course we've had some of those. But the point that overall the number of votes that we get is going up, of that there is no doubt at all.
Would you consider changing your party's name if you're ever going to try and make progress on a domestic level? Because everyone thinks you're just about Europe.
Yeah, I think if you hear UK Independence Party, that may be right. I think now, though, it's just being branded as UKIP, and I think people know, not just is it against the European Union, but we believe in democracy, we believe in referendums at local and national level, and we want smaller government. And I think that brand identity is something that we change at our peril.
But the Fens is not... I mean, I say this, I come from Suffolk. It's a very odd place. It is very odd. And the idea that you can win in London in a generally multicultural environment, you know, I mean, I think that's just a delusion.
You know, if you came to a UKIP meeting or a UKIP conference, you would find many members from the ethnic communities coming along to UKIP meetings, agreeing with us that we're overgoverned and that we're not being listened to. And if you look at the London Assembly elections next year, there is a PR element dimension to those lists, and I think we've got every chance of winning seats on that formula.
So you're struggling to lead it. You don't think it's time for someone else maybe to have a go? I mean, we saw Lord Pearson leading it during the general election.
Well, look, I did get away from the leadership of the party for a bit, and I pursued other avenues, not terribly successfully, it has to be said, and somewhat disastrously. Look, I've come back to it. We've just come second in the Barnsley by-election just a few weeks ago, getting as many votes as the two coalition partners put together. We've been through a local election where our total share of the vote is up to the highest it's ever been domestically. We are making progress.
OK, Nigel Farage, thank you so much for